Walt Disney was born on December 5, 1901, in Chicago, Illinois, and had a traditional childhood. His father, Elias Disney, 1859–1941, was an Irish farmer who arrived in the United States from Canada and settled in Chicago. In 1888, after he married Flora Call, a school teacher, 1868–1938, who was from Ohio, and of German descent. Walt is the fourth of 5 children. Arundel Disney was found in the year 1066. 21 This was a conversion Indian Senatist to Disney, where the family settled in the English village of Marutha, the name of the in 1878. Disney's father, Elias Charles Disney, moved from Huron County, Ontario, Canada to the United States of America, where he sought first to California before moving to a farm to eventually settle with his parents in Elias, Kansas. Until 1888 Barrier, 2007, p. 13 Elias married Flora Call on January 1, 1888, watching 40 north from where Disney World would eventually take place. I moved to a farm near the vicinity of Marshland, Missouri, thanks to higher rates of infection with something. To participate in the period, there's a railway called Atchison, Topeka and Santa Fe, which used to run close to the neighborhood. Judging by his schedule, he starts with a length up, until he wavers, making him start with a length followed by a shorter one, starting with a shorter one as a nod to them. The new school of Marshland in the fall of 1909, the high school. He lit it 4 years, and lit it again, last speak of November 28, 1910, and at that time, and they escaped in the fall of 1906. After that, the family moved to Kansas City in 1911, and his 2 older brothers, Herbert and Ray, were fed up with money. Walt and Ruth attend Benton Grammar School near their new home, according to Kansas City Public School files. The role of Disney had finished 2nd grade in Marshland, but he had to repeat the class in Kansas City, graduating there on June 8, 1911. At school, he met Walter Pfeiffer, who belonged to a family with a passion for theater, and was introduced to the world of playwright and motion picture. Long time, Kansas City art pointer. And finally, their father in newspaper distribution, which is a different business. He executes the Kansas City Times newspaper to about 700 customers, while he distributes a Sunday Star business of 600 customers. The number of clients has gradually increased over time, and work resumes at night at 4 in the evening until dinner time. It ran frequently on poor grades due to the multitude of ratings, and I stayed hands-on in the beta process. Send an email to us at the high school newspaper distribution ceremony of the secondary education tree. Disney worked with his father at the same time. He was N. And when he was 15, Ironston St. Ferry. I paid attention to your attractiveness in the welcome, which is a success, as it is often in the majority. Disney worked as a cartoonist for his institute newspaper, The Village Voice, during his student years. His comic strips had a political patriotic character, with his theme centered around the World War. The Red Cross Ambulance Authority had previously announced that young people suffering from 17 answered him by announcing his birth certificate as if he had completed 17, already born in 1900 instead of 1901. Indeed, he was accepted. The war on November 11, 1918. It was then to care for, and then it was to care for. In that period, he invested in the smoking habit, a habit that would go back to the rest of his life. In 1919, Disney requested that he be relieved of his military duties and once again return to the United States of America. Determined to pursue a career, Disney moved to Kansas City in 1919, leaving Chicago and the Ozell factory. His brother Rob worked in an area bank and, thanks to a friend, landed a job at the Bessemer Robin Art Studio, where Disney specialized in creating advertisements for newspapers and magazines. In cinemas, he met another painter, Goodbye Works, and they became friends and decided to start their own business. So many clients, they eventually had to leave. Both have contracted with the Kansas City Film Advertising Company, where they worked in advertising for primitive animation techniques for local cinemas. Disney was fond of animating stories, and spent several days at the Kansas Public Library browsing through books on anatomy and mechanics, and also reading Edward Muybridge's book on animation. After spending 2 years at the advertising firm, Disney thought he had gained enough experience to start his own business. In 1922, he and Fred Harmon founded Loveogram Films, which specialized in making animated short films based on popular fairy tales and children's short stories such as Cinderella or The Cat in the Boot, and Disney studied Aesop's fables as a model. The first 6 Loveogram works were tales. They screened and sorted their fees at the local theater, owned by Frank Newman, who was one of the most popular theater exhibitors in Kansas City.